Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to share some of my experiences pertaining to my hair, my loc journey. I haven't really shared anything about it, and I've just been so grateful and so appreciative of what these locs mean to me, of how they changed my life, and it is really deeper than it might seem to a lot of people. So I asked you guys if you wanted to ask me questions on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, feel free to check me out on there. I post a little more of myself. I really hope that this might enlighten you some more of what locs may mean for a lot of people, but also how potent and how deep our relationship with hair can truly be, and that it's not always just hair. And yeah, maybe this might inspire you to start your own loc journey, or maybe you just had some general curiosities and questions about this very unique hairstyle. So let's get into it, and I truly hope you enjoy the video. Feel free to share your experiences, and if you have any other questions, please let them down below in the comment section. I think we can all benefit from our shared experience and information that we share. So let's get into it. So the first question reads, why don't you share more about your loc journey? That's a very good question. And I want to say that it has actually been a very deliberate decision. Even if I don't do things, I have really thought about why I don't want to do certain things. And I just started this loc journey really knowing that I wanted it to be a very personal experience. It has been such a personal experience, and I feel like sometimes when we hop on things and we share too much, we overshare certain aspects of our life. We kind of put a spotlight on it, which also draws more attention, and I feel like it would have put the subconscious pressure on me, or I would allow in other people's expectations for what this journey should mean, or whatever it should look like, and however I should carry it. I just didn't want other people's opinions, ideas to really come near me when it comes to my hair. It was really a very personal decision, and I wanted it to be private. I wanted it to really be rooted in myself before I allowed myself to just share about it. And I also feel like a lot of the times when we just share too much, we kind of feel like we have to please certain people, or we have to maintain a certain standard, and we have to show up in certain ways that might not always align. So it was really a decision that I made so I would be able to make the decisions that felt right for me without feeling guilt or shame, or feeling like I let people down because I didn't commit to a certain idea. I'm not gonna lie, I think at the beginning as well, I was very open to the idea that I might stop the loc journey, and I didn't want to feel like I put so much emphasis on my hair online that a lot of people would kind of like have this expectation for me to stay in it longer than I needed to, or that I would feel guilty for no longer wanting my locs. So I think that's a part of it as well. But the longer I have my locs, the more I'm also like, I cannot imagine myself taking them out again. So that's a very interesting insight. Second question, somebody asks, why did you start your locs? This is going to be a very deep question for me because it has such a deep meaning for me, and I cannot really, bear with me. So it all started in almost 2 years ago. On January 1st, I'm going to have my locs for 2 years. And as you can see already, the date and just the time of my life, I think it was like the end of 2022. 2022 was such a hard year for me. I went to one of the most devastating breakups I've ever been through. I completely lost myself. I felt so scattered, and it was a very hard time for me. And I remember looking in the mirror on December 31st. I'm going to pull up a picture of that. And I looked at myself, and I think one of the last hairstyles I had was red braids, which was also very out of my comfort zone. But I remember looking at myself in the mirror and just not recognizing myself, and just feeling so fragile and so scattered and so drained. And I knew I wasn't healthy. I barely had hope or something. But in that moment, I just had this vision, and I heard this voice in my head that really told me, like, the next year you are going to start this great physical transformation. And I just hung on to that. And the next day I started my locks. It was very impulsive. So I hadn't really thought about it prior. Like, I never really considered having locks. A lot of people in my surroundings had locks already, but it were more like my male friends. And I saw it as a very street gangster kind of thing. That was the type of people I associated with my locks. So I never correlated locks with women, and I had never seen locks like that. For example, you know, Lauryn Hill, she had beautiful locks. I would see Lauryn Hill, but I would not see her locks. So I never noticed locks like that. So I guess it wasn't really in my consciousness. So bear with me, right? This is the first part of the explanation. Second part, I was in a period also in that time where I was really in the mindset of learning to set boundaries and learning to take decisions that were right for me, and learning to let go of the fear of not constantly people pleasing. I was really letting go of people pleasing and learning to take the decisions that were right for me, and like stepping over that fear, knowing that if I do this, people are going to be upset with me. But I was like, you know what? I am ready to be not liked. I am ready to be disagreeable, and I don't care anymore. I think I was at that phase back then. It's also when I unfollowed everyone on Instagram because, quite frankly, I just really want to start over again and like choose the people that truly meant something for me, or that I actually cared seeing their stuff, and just let go of the burden of all the I felt like sometimes, and I feel like social media, if you're not new to this channel, in a lot of my other videos, I also talk about technology and its impact on our consciousness and how it can like correlate with our idea of self, our perception of others and the world. And what I realized at that time is that when we are holding on to a lot of these parasocial relationships, for me, I felt the pressure of having to still conform to a certain version of myself that all these different people knew, but like a lot of people didn't even know me, or some people I didn't even like. And I was like, why am I trying to be this person for all these people that don't even mean anything to me, that aren't even a part of my life, that don't even add value to my everyday existence? So that was really a moment where I was going through a lot of radical change. I was cutting off a lot of people. I was very alone. Like, I was not really with my family. It was a very strange time for me. And I feel like in that period coming after, I guess that's when God he instilled really that drive for me to get locks. Because like I just said, I never really thought about it myself. But 1 week before getting my locks, the last week of December 2022, I just started to have dreams about locks, about myself having locks. And for the first time, I saw a lot of people with locks in my everyday environment, like families, little children, old people, entire family. Like that was something I had never noticed. And really in a soulful, beautiful way, I was seeing these people and I was like, wow, they're so beautiful, and they just stand differently in themselves. And yeah, I just felt that nudge, like, it's time. You have to do it now. You feel that urge, take the signs and just do it. Because if you're not going to do it now, you're going to doubt yourself too much. You're going to overthink it and not do it. So I just did it myself at home. Then a friend of mine, Mercy, shout out to her, she really came to me to do the reparting very well. I didn't even think about the parting. And it's even after doing the parting that I saw videos online and that I started to wonder like, oh, but I didn't think about it so thoroughly. So everything was really... Sometimes I just really move when Spirit says so. So I felt really guided. It was a really guided decision and not something that I necessarily did for myself, if that kind of makes sense. So my locks do have a very deep spiritual meaning for me. I hope that's an answer to the question. And let's go on to the next. What was your coping mechanism when your locks were still short? That was a very good question. I also had another question that says, how was your ugly stage? So I'm kind of gonna combine those questions because short locks and at the beginning are kind of correlated with the idea of an ugly stage. And I didn't even know about the ugly stage until like after getting them started. I started with 2-strand twists, and it took more than a year to get them actually to lock. The budding stage was very long. Looking back, it looks worse than my perception of it going through it. But as soon as I learned about like the ugly stage, and also at the beginning when, you know, you're still very hyper focused on it because you just started and you're still very conscious of other people's perspectives on it, it wasn't really easy. I think I also wore a lot of hats. But like I said, everything for me was like a spiritual experience. So I also had the mindset like everything that I'm doing and all the feelings that are coming up regarding to whatever my locks are looking like or whatever I feel like or whatever I see in the mirror, I'm just going to accept it as my insecurities coming to the surface. And this is an opportunity for me to love myself deeper, to accept myself as I am, to let go of control of how my hair should look like, of how I should show up in the world, and to just transmute those feelings of doubts and insecurities and external expectations, so societal societal pressures, things like that. I'm gonna be very honest with you, it really wasn't easy, but it was so challenging in a way that it has deepened my many virtues. It has deepened many of my virtues in a way that I realized it was like a reflection of how I should approach life more. I got way more gracious with myself as well. So it was more about learning patience and a reflection of the fact that even with other things in life, we are not truly in control, and that's okay. And the more you realize that you're not in control, the more you feel the need to hyper focus on it, because focusing on the hair would not make it grow faster or make it look the way that I wanted it to. So I think what I had to do to make myself feel less insecure and to make that time not as sufferable, or to not feel as ugly, to not like see it as an ugly stage, was truly detaching my sense of self and my identity from my hair. I know that sounds really fake, but I was just really learning to see me as a whole being and to not necessarily put pressure on how my hair looks or think that my hair defines my value, my worth, my beauty, my level of like how deeply I can be loved. And it did bring up a lot of realizations for me, whereas with braids, every month I had to think about, what am I going to do my braids as? How am I going to lay my hair? Is my hair still the way it's supposed to do? If I had an afro, for example, your hair does not look the same when you're back home compared to when you're leaving the house, you know? So there was constantly the stress about looking good, about, are people judging my hair? Is it good enough? Sleek enough? Are the curls coily enough? Is my hair frizzy? Is it raining? You know, all these things that we're constantly overthinking about. It was about letting it go and no longer caring, and just truly not thinking about the hair anymore, and just allow yourself to look however you feel and learn to accept and love yourself as you are. I think that was really my coping mechanism for the short. And then I started to love it. I started to just not think about my hair and just look in the mirror and see the beauty of me beyond my hair. My hair is just there, but it's not defining of how beautiful I would feel that day. You know, I really started to see the value of my beauty as an internal thing. Yeah. And that has changed the way I see myself forever. One question says, do you think about getting them out? And another said also, do you ever think about getting your old hair back? That's a very good question. Now, not as much anymore. Today, I really love my locks. They're like, I don't know, they're like my babies. I don't know. They mean so much to me. They're part of like a new season of me. They represent a rebirth for me. There's Lean before her locks and there's Lean when she started her locks, and I've just fallen in love with myself 1,000 times more when I did start my locks. But I did think about getting them out often, especially around the 1 year mark, like just after, I think just when they were starting to fully get locked. So change is really slow and patience really get tested. And, you know, you can ignore your hair and like, you know, love yourself as much as you want, but that will not prevent from bad days to happen. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like some days I didn't wake up and was like, girl, this really is not it. Like, are you sure? Like, are you not looking crazy? And, you know, when the self-doubt just really gets to you. And there were days where my hair wasn't very maintained. My locks weren't really fully formed. They was just a little all over the place. Kind of looked like a homeless person. I tried to love myself, accept myself the way I was. But at some point it was like, I don't know if this is this what it is? Because I don't know if I want to look like this my entire life, you know, especially when you go outside and you see these beautiful girls with all these beautiful braids and cornrows, which I love so much. Like, I love those hairstyles so much. And when I used to see pictures of myself, sometimes I would reminisce of like old pictures, and I was like, oh, like, my hair looked really good. I love doing these hairstyles. And then sometimes I would be like, okay, do I want to go back? I also thought one time I almost braided over my locks. I almost did faux locks over my locks. And it was my mom that was like, girl, that's going against the purpose. Like, don't forget why you're doing this. Don't cheat on yourself or something. And I know, like, I don't judge people that do that. I don't judge people that braid over their locks. I do not care, because I would do it sometimes as well. Like, it's still fun to play with your locks. And this is also returning to why I didn't want to share my lock journey, because there's so much expectations from outside of how we should treat our hair. So for me, it was never about telling people how they should treat their hair or what a good lock journey looked like. And I didn't want that for myself. But my mom was like, don't do it. She also really saw it as a spiritual thing. And she saw it, knowing me, as me giving up to the insecurities that I had. So she really pushed me to be like, girl, no. And then I just didn't do it. And I never regret not doing it. And also very shortly after, my locks really started to grow in a very beautiful way, because I also went to see my magical loctician, which I appreciate so much. Shout out to Ben the Looks in Antwerp. If you guys are from Belgium, she does the work. Like, she just knows what she does. And I feel like her hands make my hair grow longer, faster, healthier. So yeah, that's very important. Another question, do people treat you differently? That's a very interesting question. And for me, if you're not new to this channel, you know, I also talk about as within, so without, and I really learn a lot from projection. So yes, people treat me differently now with locks, but in a very positive way. And I truly believe that that is because I treat myself differently as well. I love myself differently. I respect myself differently. I feel so much less insecure. And I just really feel like it's an energetic thing, and people can sense that. People sense that, and people will treat you in the way that they feel you treat yourself. People will show up for you in the way that they feel like you show up for yourself. So I have, at the beginning of my lock journey, there was a lot of pushback from some relatives that really didn't want me to get my locks, and that would tell me every day, you're gonna take them out. And I was like, no, stop. They tried. But then over time, they were like, it looks good on you. I know. But as I said, it was also a part of me being in this very rebellious state and doing it to prove something to myself and to like fight against that insecurity and the need to constantly please other people and care about other people's opinions of me. When I was in my short phase, a bit confused about what was going on, still shedding a lot of the self-doubt, still on the journey of accepting and loving myself, very, very quickly into the lock journey, people just started to approach me so differently. I feel, and that's still till today, people so easily approach me with smiles and are so friendly. And I feel like I look approachable in a way, and people are not afraid to just say hi or like have a smile or a laugh or just talk when I'm on the train or when I'm in the state or when I'm just walking on the street. People are so friendly, and it just opened a whole new world. And I think that, you know, it felt like every hairstyle was a different personality. The girls that do braids, you definitely understand, or even the people that wear wigs, like Do you wear wigs? Have you worn wigs? Will you wear wigs? Anyway, sorry, I had that in my head. It's like every hairstyle is a different personality, but I think before having my locks, my hair felt a lot of the time like the center of attention. A lot of the times people would comment on my hair, the smell of my hair, because of the products I used, or the color of my hair, the length, the braids, the styles, oh, is that your real hair? Oh, that's so cool. Oh, your hair is so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I just feel like in my environment, people weren't really used to all that hair. And so I would always get a lot of comments, even though they were positive. Granted, I'm not complaining about getting positive comments on the hair. But subconsciously, if people are always pointing out something about you, you gonna start thinking about it even more often. So if I know like, oh, people always notice my hair, I'm gonna put twice as much pressure on myself for my hair to always look good. So I think when my hair didn't look good, or if I felt like my hair didn't look good, I would show up in the world differently. If it would be more closed off and not allow people to talk to me or not talk to people. And I feel like the switch now with the locks is that I don't think about my hair anymore. I'm just me. I'm just happy. Like, I don't care about how I show up. And this is even with my clothes. I can be like in my training and just walk outside, but I will still talk to people and still smile because I'm no longer constantly thinking about how people perceive me. And I feel like that internal reality, that internal process, and that energetic elevation, the way you could call it, that changing of internal frequency does have an effect on how people feel they can approach you. So that was a very big explanation, but yeah, definitely in amazing ways. And it's just a representation, like your crown means so much. And that's when I realized like, wow, the fact that my reality can change so much just because of something I did to my hair. I don't feel like people notice my hair anymore. I don't get judged on my hair anymore. My hair is a part of me, but it's not the focus on me. I feel like now I get judged on who I am and not on what I wear or what my hair looks like. So yeah, I think those are the questions I'm going to answer today. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know. And I also want to say, for the people that want to start their locks, that are thinking about a lock journey, if you want to do locks, please do it because you want it. Please do it for yourself. Please do it because it feels right for you. Don't do it because it's a trend or because other people do it, or don't just base your ideas of how your lock's gonna look like on someone else. Don't watch too many videos as well, because I also fell into this loophole where at some point you need this motivation, you need to remember what you're doing it for, but we start to compare ourselves too much. And that's when we fall back into this funnel of insecurity and doubt. And don't allow anyone else's ideas to make you feel like whatever decisions you make for yourself are not good, or don't feel too much like you have to explain your choices. Like, it's your hair. And if you want to do your locks right now, if you want to take them out in 5 years, or if you just want to try, if it's not good for you, like, don't feel guilty about that. It's not for everyone. Nothing is for everyone. Nothing is forever. And especially doing it because other people are doing it, it's kind of counterproductive in my experience. But then again, you do whatever you want and don't let anyone make you feel bad about making certain decisions for yourself. But I absolutely love my locks. I don't know when and if I would ever take them out because I'm so in love with them right now. But yeah, I'm very grateful for this journey, and I would really recommend, just for the internal process, and make sure that you have someone when you do your hair. I made sure that it was people that knew my intentions for my hair. So like I said, when I started my lock journey, I did it at home. And then it was a friend of mine that did my parting again. And I made sure to tell her what it meant for me, what these locks meant for me, what this journey means for me. So she was able to, when she was working with her hands on my hair, to also put that intention in my hair. I feel like our hair is something very sacred. It's like external nerves. My hair is also very sensitive. I know that sounds really weird, but I catch a lot of energy through my my hair. So that is also very important, that not anyone can just touch your hair or manipulate your hair all the time. That's why I also stopped. That's also something that I'm very grateful for, that I'm not doing these braids all the time, because I just, you know, when people touch your hair, you don't know like the energies that are entering your headspace and like your crown. And you know, I'm very spiritual like that. If you don't resonate, that's okay. You know, you don't, whatever, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So don't think that people can necessarily like hurt you like that. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I am very intentional, and I do suggest for things to go in the most beautiful way if you want to experience it in a very spiritual way as well. Make sure that you find people that are aware of the meaning of certain hairstyles and that are doing it with care and love and for your growth and best will. So yeah, that was my 2 cents on the loc journey. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope to see you in the next video. Feel free to share this with anyone if you think they might need this, if they might want to hear this, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.